Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Journey. In today's video, I wanted to do an updated video talking about the Dream Store and priorities in the Dream Store. Now, massive shout out to Season from Analytica for helping me gather my thoughts on this one and giving me some of his insights as well. I'll leave a link to Analytica in the description. But in this one, I'm going to talk about it from a new player's perspective, but also players who are playing at the moment. As you can see on my account, I have 13,000 saved up, and I want to talk about why that is and what I'm personally doing here. But the first thing I want to cover is for newer type accounts, and by all means, please let me know what you guys think in the comments as well, because these are one of those things that I don't think there's like a black and white right answer, but I do think there's some general gray lines you can follow that should get you pretty much pointed in the right direction. Now, because we had the nerf to true damage in the new season, a lot of people started thinking, is Marilee shit now? Is she not going to do anything? Do I just avoid Marilee at all costs? The answer to me is no. I still think the top priority for any player is Odi. Now, there is a decision you're going to make on whether you do Odi straight to Mythic Plus or if you do him straight to Supreme Plus. Now, that is a tough decision, which I don't think there is one right answer. There's a lot of variables on that one, which I'll do my best to explain. But I do think there is also a very strong case for new accounts to put Odi on the epic wishlist and in place of Cecilia, remove Cecilia from the standard wishlist in place of Carolina, and then you just basically forego Cecilia and you try and hyper focus in on that Odi, and then he becomes your main unit because he is so good in campaign, he is so good in PvP, and he is so good in bossing. And so he's just the complete package. So I do think there is a very strong case to go directly for him, especially the way he has panned out in this season. Now, once again, whether you go to Mythic Plus or Supreme Plus will kind of depend on the way the RNG fell on your account. I still think, personally, Marilee is second option to get. But if you got really shafted on Marilee, and like once you get Odi to Mythic Plus, you still need, say, 15 to 20 copies of Marilee, I'd be kind of tempted to go Supreme Plus Odi first. As you can see on my account here, I have bought out 5 copies of Marilee. And I bought out the extra 3. So Odi, the first month I bought out all Odis, copies, all 15. Then I had to buy 3 more to get him to Mythic Plus. And then I bought 5 Marilees to get her to Mythic Plus as well. Now, at that time on my account, I was still in the base season where the true damage is still overpowered. So she actually gave me a massive boost, bringing me from like 40 to 60 range on bosses to 10 to 20 range, which is actually a really decent increase for me. And she was fantastic for that. So the variables on whether you want to go for Marilee after Mythic Plus or Supreme Plus Odi, it's kind of like, how hard are you pushing in the bosses? Are you pushing it to go from like, you know, that 40 to 60 range into the 20 range? Or are you going from like 5% to 3%? If you're going from 5% to 3%, it's not that big of an impact. So it's not too stressful on going for the Marilee. And like I said, the other thing is, how many copies do you need? I only needed 5 copies of Marilee to make a Mythic Plus. That seemed like a no-brainer investment to me to go slap it in. And then I've just got this other character built, and then I can continue on my way. But I do think, once again, it comes down to your personal preference on whether you want to do Supreme Plus Odi earlier or do him later. So I'm just going to leave that one there that you guys can decide. I don't think there is a wrong answer on that one. But let's continue with the rest of the order, because this is where we get some changes. So once again, Odi, you choose Mythic Plus or Supreme Plus. Then I'd go Marilee to Mythic Plus because she is still very, very useful in a lot of bosses. Then we used to aim for Corrin. The new change that I made instead of Corrin is to go for Coco. Coco is so impactful in the game, and when we first looked at these shot priorities and stuff, obviously there was no nerf to true damage, so Corrin was still dealing massive amounts of damage. But also, we hadn't fully tested Coco in the PTR and stuff like that. Coco is absolutely amazing for campaign and bossing, and especially when you get into a season, her bossing capabilities are huge, and if you can get her to Mythic Plus, she adds a shield. It makes her even better. Coco is such a valuable unit. The one place she doesn't really shine is PvP, but everywhere else, she's so good. So she would be the next one on my personal priority list for a new account. It would go Odi, you choose Mythic Plus or Supreme Plus, then Marilee to Mythic Plus, then Coco to Mythic Plus, because Coco is such a valuable unit. Now, after Coco, then we have a couple units that I really like, and it depends where you want to focus. I still think Corrin is a very great option to get to Mythic Plus, but we do have units like Damien, who is fantastic to get to Mythic Plus for his campaign type usage, his AFK stage pushing usage. He's absolutely fantastic at that Mythic Plus for the boosting he gives. And even Arden is another good one for AFK stage pushing as well. So it becomes, where do you want to get these guys to? And also for PvP as well, so don't forget of that. So Corrin is more of your boss focused unit, and these two are more of your AFK stage and PvP focused units. So from there, I think it's up to you on what you want to focus on your account, on what you go for. But if by the time you get to like having Coco and Marilee done, then I would be definitely, before I jump into the others, I would be looking at finishing off my Odi to Supreme Plus to get him just that extra investment out of him, because he is a really strong unit. And then once again, you can look at. So to recap, for new accounts, I think Odi to Mythic Plus or Supreme Plus, then Marilee to Mythic Plus, then Coco to Mythic Plus. Then if you haven't done the Supreme Plus Odi yet, do that. Then you can choose between Corrin and Damien would be the two main picks in my opinion. And then once those two are done, you go to Arden for Mythic Plus. And that is my general flow. Once again, each account's going to be different. Depends what you're focusing on. You don't have to follow this type of thing, but those are the kind of recommendations I would look at. Now I want to talk, and that's for newer accounts. Now for my account here, I want to talk about people who've been playing since roughly around the global launch. So as you can see here, if we look at my characters, I've got my Mythic Plus, my Mythic Plus Marilee, and since I got her to Mythic Plus, she has been the only thing I have been summoning from my normal summons. You can see I've pulled 11 copies. Those are not shop copies. Those are just pulled copies since I got her to Mythic Plus. So she has been absolutely swarming me. My Odi here is only at 4 copies. So I haven't really been pulling the Odi copies. Now, if we look at the rest of what I've got Coco sitting here at 4 of 12. And then I've got Corrin. So I actually did Corrin because I did this before the true damage nerf came in. If I could take something back, it would be this investment into Corrin, and I would put it into Odi and to Coco. That would be the big thing that I would take back. But if we go over here to my Coco, once again, she is 8 away. My Damien is only, what's that, 5 away, which is really reasonable. So that is the kind of situation I am in. Now, me personally, the next thing I want to do is get my Odi to Supreme Plus. This dude is an absolute monster, and I just want that Supreme Plus on him. But as you can see, I need 16 copies. So when you are in this phase of looking to get your Odi to Supreme Plus or any investment on these characters, what I like to do is save up until I have enough currency to buy them all the way up. Now, also keep in mind the shop duration. If we go over here, you can see that the shop duration has 4 days and 23 hours left. If this is close, you got to keep in mind you can only buy 15 per month. So you got to keep in mind how many you need. But once again, if we go to my Odi here, I still need 16 copies. So I am not going to purchase these from the shop until two situations in which I will purchase them. I will purchase one because I need 16 copies on the last day of this. But besides that, I'm not buying any until I have enough to buy out the entire amount that I need, which means I'm not going to buy any in the next 4 days and 23 hours unless I happen to get, because I need 16, unless I happen to pull 4 from summons, and then I can get him straight up there. I hate spending these when I'm not there yet and I can't get them to that ascension. So that's why I have saved up so many. I am waiting. You can see I can currently buy, how many is that? I can currently buy, what's that? 10. Yeah, I can currently buy 11 copies. Math is hard. So I can currently buy 11 copies, but I need 16, so I'm not going to buy them yet until I can get that Odi done, because otherwise, because I do want to save up and see if I can get some from summons. I am in the stage where I'm still getting a lot of these standard tickets. So as you can see, I'm at 7 to 10. I'll have another 10 pull in the next day or so, so that will get me more chances to get those characters. But that is why I do have mine heavily stacked. So once again, my process over here on my account, which started like a week after Global, is my next call. I'm dropping everything and I'm going Odi straight to to Supreme Plus. I just want to get him absolutely beefed up. After I get him there, then I'm going to shift my focus to my Coco, get her beefed up as well. And then once I've got her there, I am focusing on the Damien, who is actually really, really close anyway to the Mythic Plus, which is fantastic. And then after that, I am going to focus on Arden. So the only thing I would have really changed on my account would be the copies of Corrin that I bought, which if we go over to the shop here, you can see how many I actually bought of Corrin. I bought a complete 12 copies of Corrin, which is a lot of investment into that character. So those 12 copies would be replaced with the 12 copies here that I could purchase of Odi. However, I wouldn't have been able to actually get Odi to Supreme Plus with that. So in that situation, I probably would have actually shifted that investment of Corrin into Coco, because that would have got me to her next limit point. And that's where I talk about it's very account dependent, because you don't want to be just buying copies of a character that get you nowhere. For instance, me, if I shifted those copies of Corrin into Odi still wouldn't be anywhere. However, if I shifted just the 8 of them into the Coco, she would be at her next breakpoint. And then I'd still have to wait for my Odi until the next month anyway. So that's the way you kind of got to look at it. But once again, recapping, I think in general, the priority that I look to now is once again, Odi to Mythic Plus or Supreme Plus, Marilee to Mythic Plus, then Coco to Mythic Plus. Then if you get Coco to Mythic Plus and you still haven't done Supreme Plus Odi, that is when I go to Odi. Me personally on my account, I'm looking to do Odi before Coco, but I've already invested into Corrin, so it's a bit awkward. So Odi, then Marilee, then Coco, then it's up to you on these 3 over here, which is Damien, Corrin, and Arden. My personal priority would probably be Damien, because he's so close and I just RNG'd into him. But between Damien and Corrin, you can kind of pick what you want to focus on, and then I think Arden falls to the end. But that is my general thoughts on priority for the current Dream Store. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, this stuff is always hard to say, this is what you should do. I try and give you guys my thoughts and general guidelines and let you guys make your own decisions. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.